Good morning and welcome back to my channel. It's G. So I've got an interview this morning. I don't know where the camera is because I've changed the angle I'm filming from, because I realized that for me to get the right aspect ratio I would like for YouTube, I have to film it this way. So I've got a job interview at 9:30 at a place I realized that I really want to work at, or I'd like to. And the funny story behind that is that I initially was offered a temporal for that job back in, I don't know, like 3 weeks ago. And then that fell through because apparently I decided to go permanent. And it was those kind of temporals that it was for 18 months, which would have been perfect. And the agent I was speaking to, lovely woman, she's like, oh, can you start next week? Because it was meant to start in January. And she's like, oh, they're asking if you can start next week because I think they saw my CV. I was like, yeah, man, I can start next week. And then that was that, because they decided to go permanent. And then 2 weeks ago, I got, because I've stopped applying for work on LinkedIn, but my open to work is still open, it's still on. So if anybody wants to offer me a job, they can message me and then I'll think about it and blah blah blah. I didn't have time to style the hair too much this morning, and I didn't want to actually. So they then said, oh, so it was this lovely lady. She's like, oh, I've got this role, blah blah blah. She was very very, I don't want to say hyper, but hyper. And then I said, yeah, sure, let's talk. And then when we spoke, I think before I spoke to her, I looked at the job. I was like, oh, it's the same company. I was like, oh, it's the permanent job. So I was like, okay, yeah, let's talk. And then we spoke, and then I was honest with her, and I said, listen, I was already courted for this by this company via a temp agency, and they decided to go permanent with it. And she goes, oh, that's amazing, blah blah blah. So at least she knew I was definitely interested. And she's like, oh, they're currently, I'm having a mocha from the shop, so it's not real. And I only have mochas if I don't have time to eat. And then she said they are going to interview in January, and she's just shortlisting the candidates, blah blah blah. And then while we're talking, she realized I'm actually one of her candidates, like in their company, because it's Michael Page. And so at least I didn't have to explain too much of myself, which was great because I didn't like selling myself. And then that was that. And then she called the next day to say they want to see you next week. I was like, oh, I thought you said January. She goes, no. They love your CV. They really want to see you next week. Can you make? I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever. And the place I'm doing temp work for, the lady could hear me on the phone, and she's like, they want you, don't they? I mean, yeah. And she goes, just tell them you can't come till end of January. I said, it's a permanent role. It's going to take a while. There's like 3 courses of interview, blah blah blah. So I've been really looking forward to it, and the more I look into the company, the more I want I want to work there. I like what they do. I love what they do. I would be a customer of what they did. If I'm going to be a customer of what you do as a company, that means I really like you. And then as I was doing my interview prep yesterday, I've read all I need to know about the company, I think. And I remember I went to look back at this job spec, and it said, what's that word? Competency-based questions. And I had to refresh myself, what that meant. And then also they said, so the people I'm interviewing with don't work there. They're the ones placing the people there. So it kind of feels like when I was applying for work at Drax, because the person that put me there wasn't there by the time I started. And then what else happened? Yeah, so I was looking at the job spec and I realized that it's actually a senior position to the temp one that I was initially going for. And then by the time I finished speaking to the agent, there's actually 2 roles that she thinks I'll be really good for. So she's putting me forward for 2. I said the one I'd prefer. Again, like how it was with Trax. And this is a company I can see myself staying with for a very, very long time. But also, what started going through my mind yesterday was that feeling of, I really like this company. I really want an opportunity to work there. And then I suddenly felt the same way I felt when I was interviewing for the role I got made redundant at in July. And I'm just like, you know that thing of like, can I go through this again? And the only way I can describe the feeling is how I felt when I lost a baby, when I lost a pregnancy. Because I'm like, I can't go through this again. Like, I really want it, but can I even be bothered? Like, it's kind of like you're trying to protect your heart before it's hurt, you know. And I know that's not a good way to start thinking or what. Can this woman see the car? Okay. But I thought I was about to witness an accident. Ugh. It's just, anyway, started me thinking like, oh, you know. And I also didn't want to do that. Oh, if I don't get it, it's okay, blah, blah, blah. And then when I was getting ready for bed, I was like, right, I need to get my heart right, in the right place. And as I was brushing my teeth, washing my face for bed, whatever, I can't remember what thought came to my mind, but the main one was that, and it was in a song, which I can't remember what song it was, but it's basically, if God is not in it, I don't want it. Because I'm a strong believer of, it doesn't matter what I say when I get to the interview. If the job is mine, the job is mine. My job at, my first job at MIB, I don't remember what I said in the interview because I was half asleep. I was so tired. We just moved, I had a new baby, blah, blah, blah. So, and I remember saying, Holy Spirit, take control. I couldn't tell you what I said in that interview. I remember hearing people laughing. I think, oh, we like you, blah, blah, blah. And I got the job. So for this one, I'm very much like, and that interview, I had to do a test that I wasn't ready for. Like an actual test on the system. So I remember to pray that prayer yesterday of like, God, if you're not in it, I don't want it. If you're not in it, I don't want it. And that gave me so much peace. And I always say this, peace over everything. It gave me so much peace. And yeah, so I'm feeling good. I had some weird dreams, but it's okay. The other thing is, the interview is in the building. I had a disastrous interview a few years ago for, not a few years, it feels like a few years ago. A few weeks ago for a car company. That's when I had to do a presentation. It was the first time I used ChatGPT. It was a disaster. I got there, I hadn't creamed my feet. My legs were ashy. It was horrific. And I think that was just before my last mini meltdown. Yes, before UK Black Business Week. So it's in the same building because like an what do you call it? Co-working space, whatever. So yeah, but this one, they're like, oh no, when you get there, call this number. We've got your allocated parking bay. That other one, I paid for parking for myself. So I'm quite excited about this one. It does have a different feel to it already, so I'm excited. And yeah. So yeah, I changed my outfit because after I prayed yesterday and I spoke to God, and I was like, do you know what? I'm going to dress like I'm going to work, because I am going to work afterwards. So what I wear shouldn't matter. So this is part 1 of this, and I will do a part 2 before I go to work. Again, I don't know where the camera is. Okay, bye. Hello everybody. this is part 2 of a 2-part something. So I've just finished my interview with a company, and what's going on? And yeah, I'm recording this now because I have to go to work. And it was amazing. I loved it. It was great. I loved the people I interviewed with. They were really lovely. There was a couple of old men that were really nice. They were not old. Oh, I probably need to call the agent back. But yes, they will let me know soon. And I think the next, I don't know what there's another 2 stages, but I know the last stage is like the last stage is with HR, and she's like, they're like, oh, it's not a competency thing, it's just like a soft skills, whatever. These guys' job is to just place the people to place the people there, but they are, I do this thing where when I'm interviewing, if I can work with the person I'm talking to, then it's great. So I could definitely work with either of them. Lovely, lovely men, much older men. One was South African. I don't really remember what his background is, but the other one that did most of the questioning he's a finance person, former CFO, blah blah blah. Lovely, 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 lovely man. I really enjoyed it, and it was everything I thought it would be and more. And I think they said start date of 12th of January, which I'm laughing because the lady I'm helping out in my temporal, she said, tell them you're not available till the end of January. So yeah, but no, it was really good. I enjoyed it, and now I'm going to work. And I didn't have any paperwork. I didn't have any, like, normally I'd have like paperwork on the desk like I'm looking at. And I think because of how I was feeling yesterday, which I don't think I finished talking about from before, I didn't need to, I remembered my CV. I was able to talk them through it. And there was this thing I saw on LinkedIn where this lady was basically saying, when they ask you certain interview questions, what they want to hear from you. So I remembered most of that. And I love that I changed my outfit, that I'm more relaxed. They were very relaxed. I would have felt very overdressed if I had overdressed in terms of like, because again, I always say there's no such thing as overdressing. You dress how you want to dress. But if I'd dressed how I initially wanted to dress, it would have been overpowering for them. I think it would have been too distracting for them, because it was literally in their open plan office, and there was a man literally sat there working while I was being talked to. So but yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the chat. I learned a lot. I made them laugh. I laughed as well. And it's hard to tell when it's this kind of thing, because they're placing you somewhere. They're not the ones you're going to be working with, but the role is all brand new. Everybody will be brand new. The management, the this, the that. So it's nice that everything will be fresh. But yeah, that is that. And I can't wait to see what the next steps are. And then now I need to call the agent to just let her know how we went. All right, peace and love. And also, I've already come to terms with the fact that if I don't finish my, what are we calling this thing, my 90 days this year, that's fine. But the good thing is I know which video I want to put as the last one, and it's the one that I filmed on the day I got made redundant. In fact, there's 2 videos from that day, before I got made redundant and after I got made redundant. That's what I'm going to post, so at least I have that. The gardening thing, I might post it in parts, because I'm still trying to do the aspect ratio. I might have to just post them in the, I don't know. But yeah, anyway, that's that. I'm pretty much at work now, so have a lovely day, and whatever you do, believe in yourself, keep trusting God, and breathe. All right, peace and love. Bye.